In this video, we'll discuss how you can store a large amount of data on a mobile device so that the data is accessible while you are offline. So you can see that we have a very simple UX component over here, and in this component we have an action over here that is defined using action JavaScript using the PhoneGap manifest action. So there's a whole bunch of sub-actions inside this action, and the action that we're going to use over here is the action called fetch files in manifest. So a manifest is just a description of the files that you want to retrieve and store on the mobile device. So you can see here that we basically are going to be fetching files in a manifest, and the manifest is going to be obtained by downloading the manifest from this file on Amazon S3. So this file on Amazon S3, which you can see over here, is the manifest that describes the files that we want to load onto the mobile device. So the manifest is a JSON array, and each item in the array describes a file that needs to be downloaded. So let's go take a look now at how this manifest is created in the first place. So this action here says download the manifest and then store the data in a location on the mobile device in the private part of the file system in a subfolder called app data. So we're going to go now and take a look at how the manifest was created. So if we go now to the web control panel, we'll see in the tools menu there's under more there's an on-device data builder that allows you to create the manifest. So this builder is used both in transform applications for on-device data and in standard Alpha Anywhere PhoneGap applications. So we'll go ahead here and open up the builder, and I'm going to load a previously saved definition. So you can see here that in this definition we've specified that the on-device data has quite a few different sub-items. So the first item is a folder that contains files, and it contains all of the files that match these wildcard selections. So there could be hundreds or even thousands of files that match this selection over here. And what's going to happen at runtime is that these files will all be put into a single zip file. The zip file will be uploaded to S3, and then the manifest will reference the zip file. Then once the files are downloaded to the device, the zip file will be unzipped, and all of the files will be in a folder called images on the mobile device. So next we have a SQLite database, and in this case the SQLite database is being created by executing one or more queries against back-end SQL databases or web services, etc. So in this case we just have a simple SQL query going against the Northwind customer table, and then we have some static data over here. Next we basically have a folder that contains some PDF files. So we've got two PDF files in another subfolder, and then we have another SQLite database, we have another file, and then we have basically a URL that points to an existing file somewhere out on the internet. So in this case we're basically fetching a M4A file that is currently stored in another bucket on S3. So now that we've basically gone ahead and defined our on-device data definition, we can then save it. We can then press this button, which will actually create the files that belong in the manifest. So this has gone now and zipped up all of those files into a single file. It's created the SQLite database, etc. And now basically I can define my S3 bucket properties over here, and then I can go ahead now and upload all those files to S3. So now I've basically got all of these files in an S3 bucket, and if I tap on this button here, I can see the URL of my manifest, and I can actually see the manifest definition over here. So let's pause now and pick it up in the next video. We will actually run these actions to see the manifest files being downloaded. So in the previous video we showed how the on-device data was defined and how the manifest was created, and now we're back at our UX component now that basically has a button that uses action JavaScript in order to download the manifest file. So this is our action to fetch the manifest. Here is the URL of the manifest. Then we have some other buttons over here to delete the manifest files. So this is going to go delete the manifest files that are stored in this folder called app data on the device. And then finally we have another action called list manifest files, where we're going to just basically list out all of the files and put them, display them in a div so we can see what's actually currently on the device. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to save this component and run it in the PhoneGap shell. So we'll go ahead there, full preview, and now we'll switch over to the PhoneGap shell over here, where we can see the app running. So basically, let's start out by clicking the delete button so that there's no files currently on the device. So if we go now and say list files, we can see that there were no files found on the device. So now we're going to go ahead there and press the download manifest button. So this is going to now go and fetch all of the files that are listed in that manifest. So we go fetch the files. Now we're done. And now we'll go and say list files. So if we list files, there are 121 files now. And the reason that there are so many files is that we zipped up all of the files in a folder using a wildcard when we defined the on-device data. So here is all of the on-device data. Here are all the files that have been downloaded. And at the end here, we see the SQLite databases that were created on the fly and then downloaded to the device. So now if we go back to the top here, we can basically delete all those files. Now if we list files, there are no files in the file system. So what we've shown over here is how you can easily create the manifest for downloading on-device data, and this manifest is used in both Alpha Anywhere PhoneGap applications and also in transform applications for defining the on-device data in a transform application. Thanks very much for watching.